Hi everyone, this is David with Tigner Adventures, and it is the end of another month and time for some more tips on RV trip planning. So we have some interesting things to share with you today, so be sure and stick around. So let's get started because we have some interesting things to share with you today that I found out. The first one that I want to start off with is back in February, we talked about Harvest Host and the integration into Tripwizard. And that's a pretty cool little setup and everything. And they have finally announced it. They've gone public. So they have made all their changes, or for the most part. I keep seeing a few little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, they've done and they've introduced it to us. So one thing that is a major change from when I first announced this was I think I mentioned in my past video that I have Boondockers Welcome. I don't have the full the whole package of Harvest Host. We don't tend to use the Harvest Host pieces very often, and so we just chose to go with Boondockers Welcome. We've been with them for a long time and we really enjoy that service. Well, interesting enough, Harvest Host in the integration piece here feels that Boondockers Welcome, because of privacy issues, they do not share that information with Tripwizard. So all the things I was showing you where it was bringing up Boondockers Welcomes, they're all gone. They're not there anymore. So the only things that physically show up is if you happen to subscribe to the Harvest Host package of the Harvest Host itself, then Harvest Host entries will show up. And so other than that, you don't get any of the other things. And so if you're not going to, pay for that full package, you're not going to see that integration on Tripwizard. So I just wanted to kind of bring up a section here and just kind of reiterate how we can get around that, because we don't, the integration's nice. And for those that, have that purchase, have purchased that piece of it, then that's great for them. But for us that don't do that, let me just go over here to Harvest Host really quick, and you can see I have brought up Salt Lake City here. And so I have my entries here, and then I would go ahead and just find out what I wanted. I'd go back over to RV Tripwizard and I would just paste it in here or just type it in here, and you'll notice that it comes up with an entry right here. I just click on that and it automatically takes me to that particular site. So even though it's not on the map, I can add it as a custom stop. So I'm just going to add that to the trip as a custom stop. The other option I have is where I can just actually go somewhere and right click and say create custom stop. So we're back to, we can make that work no matter which way we actually go. Now, before I go much farther, I do need to kind of back up just a little bit. I want to, this is a video about trip planning, and that's our what is it? Our focus. Our focus is on how to plan your trips and utilizing all the different things out there. Now, I've had some comments. One guy was saying, what's so hard about planning a trip? And, it depends on what you're doing. Every trip is different. And our trips are, quite extensive. If we look right here, this particular map here has our summer 2025 trip. And so we can see exactly everything. I've already got all these reservations in. If you look over here on the left-hand side, I've got a lot of these locked in reservations because I've already reached out and I've made those different reservations. Because of that, I like to utilize this trip planning software to do this. Now, we have been members of RV Life and utilizing Tripwizard and the RV Life app for a long time now. We're on our 8th year of full-time living, and so we've been using this app for close to 7 years now. And so there has been a lot of changes and a lot of things going on, and we have come to utilize this for everything as far as our trip planning and our routing goes, because it works really well. And I haven't found anything else that does as good a job as this does. And with that said, there are issues, and we're going to talk about some of those a little later in this video. But nothing out there, no matter what you get, is perfect. And so you just need to keep that in mind. But because we use it so much, the idea of this video is to help point out some different things that you can use, or maybe some little tricks and things that will help you in planning out your trip. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to go from here to there and that's it, and the trip's all planned. As you can see on my screen right here, we have over 4,000 miles planned for this summer. And we're already starting to plan our fall trip. So we have to get reservations in early to make sure that we get the sites that we want. So because of that, we use this trip planning software. Now, we aren't directly sponsored by RV Life. This video is not sponsored directly by them. We provide this as a service, but we are affiliates of RV Life. So if you look right here, we do have a QR code that you can click on. And if you don't already have RV Life and you're interested in it, it's got a 7-day free trial, but you can just sign up with this link and you'll save 25%. We do make a little bit of commission off that, so we do appreciate those signing up, but that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to help you and help all those people that already have RV Life. We got several questions here that have been asked in our past video. We're doing this video every month, so we have a new Q&A every month at the end of the month. And so last couple months, I went through and pulled out a few different things. So thank you, TD Crom, for making this comment. Here we have nice video. We use a combination of Tripwizard, Road Tripper, and Google Maps. One way we found is to fix the bugs is to put in waypoints that we don't actually go to, but it takes us the way we want to go and not the way the app wants to go. Let's just talk about that for a minute. So it's good to use multiple things if you want to look at, you know, kind of compare things, see where things are going, see if you're going on the right routes. Remember, there's nothing out there that's perfect, right? You can get into trouble with no matter what you're using. One of the keys things that you need to really remember is that Tripwizard is routing you based on your height, weight, and length of your rig and whether you have propane on board. So, you know, Google does not do that. And part of Road Trippers will do some of that as far as just routing, but their mapping feature is very limited on what it can do compared to what Tripwizard does. And so that's why I always use Tripwizard, because of that. I have used a lot of different ones trying to figure out better ways to do things. And I'm just saying it, Tripwizard works the best as far as I'm concerned. I would keep referring to it as the Cadillac of trip planning software. They've been around for a long time. They do a really good job with it. And so that's why we stick with it. But the thing that you need to be paying attention to is you want to make sure that you don't get yourself into situations that could cause you issues based on, you know, your height and weight and length of your rig. So that's not really fun. So anyway, but you know, it's not a bad idea to check out other things. And again, if it routes you some way that you don't really necessarily want to go that way, and you want to be able to go the way you want to because you know that way is safe, then you can do like what, you know, they just go in there and they put other stops in other places and it pulls the route accordingly. And I've showed that in past videos, that you can manage your route all over the country based on putting those different little extra stops in there. And in our particular case, we call those, a lot of those stops are just quirky stops, or if we are going to be going to someplace, you know, maybe we want to go to a different campground, and so we'll route over to that particular campground. But again, we've covered quirkies before. We just go into the internet and say, you know, show me quirky Utah, for example, or quirky Wyoming, or whatever. It comes up with the top 10 whatever, or top 100 sites to see. You can just manually, you know, create custom stops and add those in there. So, and let's look at our next comment. Would like to see info on low-cost RV stays and also free stays such as BLM land, etc. Would be a nice option for part of the journey to save expenses. That would help offset the occasional splurge for expensive RV resort spaces. Also, more apps for trip planning for large Class A's. This is by Alpha Ghost 1633. So let me just talk about Tripwizard for just a second, and then we're going to go into another one here. Tripwizard has some, you know, it has a lot of different sites, mostly campgrounds, mostly more commercialized type campgrounds, places that you would pay, you know, like national park campgrounds, Forest Service campgrounds. It does have some boondocking, but very limited on finding free places to stay. There are some in there, and they do pop up from time to time, but I don't see them that often. So what I use is this app from Road Trippers. This is something that they purchased, and it's called Campinium. So Campinium.com is a really nice setup, and basically you have to, nowadays, pretty much, they kind of have a little bit of free portion to that, but they really want you to join Road Trippers to use it, because Road Trippers bought them. They haven't done as much with it as what it used to be when it was just Campinium by itself, but it still has a lot of information there, and it still works fairly decently. So I have noticed different sites disappearing, and so I'm not sure why they're taking those sites off. It used to be that we as individuals could suggest places, because we found a cool place, we could just suggest it and it would get added. And those are the sites I'm seeing disappearing. So apparently they don't allow you to make suggestions anymore. They just do their own thing. So that's unfortunate, but I can search a particular area and say, let's see, I brought up Salt Lake City on Harvest Host. So let's just bring up, whoops, got to spell it right. Salt Lake City. And the biggest thing here is that you can't, and this is the same with Harvest Host, and when you type in something here like Salt Lake City, you need to then click on the entry below, because if you just leave it Salt Lake City, it don't really work. So I'm just going to click on Salt Lake City. It actually brings up the things, and you can see that there are a lot of different things here, all right? And so the green things are typically going to be, you know, park grounds, state camps, things like that. The blue ones are RV parks, okay? So what I usually do is I go out to these green ones and I click on them, and this is settlement campground, so that's not, you know, doesn't do me a lot of good there. This is Desert Peak Complex Campground. Here is Grantsville Reservoir Campground. If I keep going out here at some point, oh, so that one's a primitive campground, and I'm trying to find dispersed camping here. So this area here is Horseshoe Knoll Dispersed Camping and OHV area. So this allows you to pull these things up, and there's a number of things out there that you could do this with too. I'll have to pull up some other ones later. Of course, when I'm on video, my mind goes blank. But you'll notice right here on the left-hand side, you got GPS coordinates, and you've also got an address. So a lot of times the address will be, in this particular case, it's just in Skull Valley. It's on Skull Valley Road, which is a long road, so it doesn't really help you out there. And Dugway is way down that road, so you know that doesn't help out either. So you really need to go with these GPS coordinates. But for example, if I take those and I copy those, and then I go back over to RV Life here, I can just paste those in there, and you'll notice that it comes right up and gives you an entry right there. But in this particular case, I'm just going to go with the GPS coordinates. So RV Life does let you just enter it in, and so it just fills it in right there along the road, and so there it is. So I can then just click on it and say, add this to my trip. So the cool thing is that if you're on Tripwizard, you know, and you zoom into this particular spot, you can go up here to map settings and change my map style to satellite. So I'm going to just turn on satellite now, and I can go ahead and zoom into that and get a pretty good idea that all it is just a bunch of places here. And we used to rock climb out here, so we'd come out and do, you know, drive out through here. You can pull out all kinds of different places to camp and park, and they do all this riding around there and everything like that. So, you know, the satellite thing helps you zoom in and finally get that. So anyway, that's just a quick one there. I'll have to dig into some other apps, and next month I'll bring up just a lot of different apps, and we'll kind of concentrate on apps more than some of these other things. So the next thing that I want to check out on here, is there a way to hold a campground option in a hold box? Let's say for stop 3, but you're undecided which one you want. Choose one and keep one, or 2 as options in the hold box. And that was from Todd M452. There is no real hold box. When I'm out here and I'm just driving around, so let's look at this is, we gotta go back up here a little bit. Okay, so you notice that this blinky thing right here in the middle is West Fork Denny Creek Dispersed Camping. Okay, This one is Lake Village in Yellowstone National Park. So I would like to, I want to stay at one of these two different places, and I go ahead and add those onto my map as markers, okay? And I only put the dates that I'm going to stay on one of those, and then the rest of them are just open. And what happens is that because I'm coming to West Fork first in our travels, then I can go to that point, check it out. If there is no place to disperse camp, or our biggest concern here at this particular time of year is it's going to be really wet and muddy and we may not want to pull off the road because we don't want to get stuck, then we can go ahead and continue on to Lake Village and, you know, get a campsite there or something like that. So a lot of times, you know, when we were going to go to Big Bend National Park, there was like 3 or 4 picnic areas and dispersed camping areas, and I just added all those as I went along. So if I got to one and it was full, there was no place to park because a lot of those times there's only 1 or 2 spots, then I could just move to the next one, and then when I found it, then that's where we'd stay. I would then go into the map and delete all those out and just leave the one that I really use on the map, so that my map stays current with what I'm doing, but that's how I actually hold those positions. All right, so let's bring up the next one now. This is They're All Spoons 333 says, do you have any suggestions on ways to find monthly stays versus nightly, weekly places, specifically looking in Tennessee, but any suggestions you can give, I appreciate. So there are a few things. Most RV parks will do a weekly, you know, they do nightly, weekly, and monthly. So that's one thing. RV parks are kind of expensive, however. So there's another one that we have, you know, signed up with and things that it's called hookhub.co. And if you bring that particular one up, now this is a new site. We interviewed them last year at the Quartzsite deal. So they have in here, they have nightly, monthly, yearly, and storage. So that works kind of nice. Unfortunately, they're still fairly new, so they don't have a lot of sites. And I did go out there and check on Tennessee, and they aren't out that far yet. So if you know, they keep adding sites constantly, and eventually this will have a lot of stuff in there, but right now that's all that has. It seems like I found one other one, but I went back and searched through all my emails and everything, and I could not find that. So this is the only one that I physically know about right now. So this one is pretty nice. It doesn't have everything, but if you go down here, you'll start seeing that they do have nightly, monthly, and yearly. And this is what it is per night, $19, $570 a month. So these are mainly in Arizona, this area right here. Here's some in Texas, or at least one in Texas. So you can see it's a little limited, but it does have the nightly, monthly, yearly options on there. So I don't know of any other ones right now. If you guys, anyone that's watching this happens to know of things like that, please put it in the comments below and see if we can't help out you know, everyone else that's looking for those long stays, because these are considerably cheaper in most cases than what you would find in an RV park. And you know, the problem with RV parks in general typically is they have a lot of people around them. So if you can find some place where you're just staying at somebody's place, then it's usually not as crowded and it's a little more peaceful. Especially, hey, how about this one, Sunrise, oh no, that's Surprise, Arizona. Nice little lake right there and everything. Pretty good. $750 a month for that one. So all right, now we have one more question here. Our last one is from Tony Lavelle 6447, and it says, when I use Waze in the truck, I have the option to see different routes. Is there a way to easily see optional routes with Tripwizard? Interesting enough, Tripwizard themselves does not give you optional routes, other than you can use the drag route feature. But as far as just giving you multiple RV safe routing, it doesn't do that specifically. So, however, if you look at the app on your phone, so let's bring up the app on the phone here and we'll take a look at that. So I'll just show you within the app that they have modified some things in there to make that available to you now. So I went ahead and pulled up my trip here. That's going to be this summer, and if I was going to West Fork Denny Creek Dispersed Camping Area, if I say navigate to that specific spot, and so I say I've got it and it's going, I agree. You'll notice now that on this map here, it is showing me two different options I have and the amount of time. So they are making changes, and they're making that, trying to work things in there. I know when we go different places, it gives us several different options to choose from. And so the dark one there is the one that I've actually put it in Tripwizard, but it's saying here's some other options that are available to you if you want to go that route. So it's still, you know, fairly basic, but it is something that's going in the app right now. So within this map and how they've routed it here, I just wanted to point out here, this is RV safe routing options based on what we put into our filters and things within the routing portion of this. So it is giving us some different options, so that is available to us, but you know, it's not real time like some of the other GPSs where they route around accidents or road closures and things that happen because of some whatever, you know, it takes a while to get that information into here. And so looking at those other things like Google, for example, I like to look at Google, and if it does show a major issue somewhere, then I can plan ahead because those are still doing it based on, you know, what's happening in that particular area. But again, Google doesn't do it based on the height, weight, and length of the rig, so you got to be really careful when you're choosing those alternate routes that you're going to navigate through on the day that you're navigating. Well, that's it for now, so thanks for coming along. It's been a lot of good information, and hopefully you've been able to get something out of it. And with that said, though, what we need you to do is to make some comments, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then please subscribe, kind of help us out there. We do appreciate that a lot. And again, you know, if you don't have RV Tripwizard yet, then check out this discount code because you can save some money. So that's the nice thing, is you save money on it, and so it helps you out, and that's what we're here to do, is to help people out as much as we possibly can. So well, until next month, that'll be it for now. So take care, and we'll see you down the road somewhere or on our next video.